Hello, it's Thursday, and can you believe it? It's October the 1st already, and we are well into the fall. And we're looking at the Psalms, and today we're in Psalm 73, and I want to say just a quick note. This is the first of Book 3 of the Psalms, and sometimes we don't pay any attention to the way in which the Psalms are put together, the 150 Psalms, and they're put together in 5 books. And we're not absolutely sure as to the exact chronology and history and detail of how these Psalms were collected and whether or not they had a life of their own. If you look at the very closing verse of the previous Psalm, Psalm 72, it says, "The prayers of David, the son of Jesse, are ended." But there are 18 more Psalms of David in the Psalter as we know it. And perhaps that suggests that Book 2 of the Psalms had a separate life from Book 3 of the Psalms. And perhaps some of these books of Psalms were collected by diaspora Jews living in different regions of the world and so on. And but Psalm 73 is the first then of Book 3 of the Psalms. And it's a psalm where the psalmist, and it's Asaph here, says, "Truly God is good to Israel, to those who are pure in heart. But as for me, my feet had almost stumbled, my steps had nearly slipped." The reason for that is quite clear as the psalm evolves. He had put his feet in faulty theological ground. He had taken his eyes off the Lord. He had forgotten God's sovereignty, God's kingship, God's care, God's loving kindness towards his people. And he ends up in verse 22, "I was brutish and ignorant. I was like a beast toward you." It's what Job learned in his trial, that he had greatly sinned against the Lord and said things and thought things about God that were beneath his and God's dignity. And so there's a turning point in verse 23 as he's rehearsed this slippage in his life. In verse 23, he says, "Nevertheless." There's a nevertheless moment, and he now finds himself walking on sure ground, good, solid theological thinking about God. "I am continually with you. You hold my right hand. You guide me with your counsel, and afterward you will receive me to glory. Whom have I in heaven but you? And there is nothing on earth that I desire besides you." The peace of God, the security of God, the providence of God, and glory to come. And so you see in this psalm, when you turn your eyes away from God, your feet are bound to slip. But I trust there's a nevertheless moment when we turn to the living God, who is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And from that point onwards in the psalm, it's wonderful. It's going uphill. It's on sure ground. Well, that's Psalm 73. Have a wonderful day.
We hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, and you want to make sure you get all of our content, not just videos, but podcasts and ministry updates, make sure you download our app. If you think you might have missed a video, click on our YouTube channel. A link should be down below. There you can see all of our videos. And if you want to make sure you don't miss anything in the future, hit subscribe. If you want to be one of the first ones to know when we release a video, hit that little bell icon. And if this video has blessed you and you can think of someone else that it might help, use that share icon and send it to them. All, of course, for the edification of God's people and the glory of His name. Until next time, God bless.